Community circles are a way for friends, family and neighbours to support someone they care about through regular informal meetings with a facilitator. Meet Jim. He's in his 80s and he's just come out of hospital. He heard about community circles from a leaflet at the GP's surgery. He's worried about being a burden to his daughter Lucy and he feels isolated. He wonders if a community circle could help him. This is Kath. She's the local community circles connector. Jim phoned Kath to say he would like a circle, and they agreed to meet at Jim's house. Over a cup of coffee, Kath listened to Jim talk about his life and what matters to him. They looked at how a community circle could help. This led them to decide on the purpose for Jim's circle to be helping him feel connected to other people and feel part of village life again. They talked about how often, when and where Jim's circle would meet. For Jim, he said this would need to be a weeknight as he wanted his daughter Lucy and his son Tom to be involved if they wanted to, and they both worked during the day. The next step was to find a community circles facilitator. To get a good match between the person and a facilitator, Kath looks for somebody who lives in the same neighbourhood and is available when the person wants their circle. Kath shared the one-page profiles of the 3 facilitators who lived near Jim and were available when he wanted his circle. Their final decision was also influenced by the facilitator's personality and shared interests too, and you could read about all of these on the one-page profile. Jim and Kath thought that Max would be the best match. The next step was to meet Max, and Kath organised for the 3 of them to meet. As the purpose of Jim's circle was to get more involved in village life again, Kath suggested that they meet at the community centre cafe. They met for a cup of tea, and Jim and Max talked about the different people in his life. They mapped this onto Jim's relationship circle, and this helped them to decide who to invite to the circle and how to do this. Jim said he'd feel more confident if Max invited his son, daughter, old friend Bert from chapel, and neighbour. All of the people Max invited for Jim came. At the first meeting of Jim's community circle, Max explained what they were and how they work. They created a circle's meeting map together, which describes the purpose of the circle, how they could share roles to make the circle successful, and how they could make sure it worked for everybody. The main focus of this meeting was to get to know each other and then to explain what would happen next. At the next meeting, they looked at what's important to Jim and what's working and not working for him, and where Jim wanted his life to be in a year's time. From this, they developed outcomes and actions. The outcomes were around where Jim wanted to be in a year's time and made sure that what wasn't working at the moment could change. Some of the actions Jim could do by himself, some involved his daughter and son, and Bert said he'd help Jim get back involved in chapel. Jim's neighbour Jean said she would make cakes for the meetings. At the next meeting, they looked at how they were getting on with the actions, what they'd tried and learned, what they were pleased about, what they were concerned about, and decided what they were going to do next. The next few meetings were similar, coming back to actions, thinking, and problem-solving together. Circle members use their skills, talents, and also connections to get things done. For example, Bert used his connections to make sure that Jim could go to chapel again, sorting out lifts to get him there and back, and helping Jim feel part of church life again. Tom was able to pick up some of the practical tasks that his dad had been struggling with, but Jim hadn't been able to ask for help with. Jean is a great cook and suggested that they took part in the local charity Tea and Cakes afternoon to raise money and to meet new people. Lucy felt reassured that other people were helping her dad, and she took responsibility for liaising with social services and health services around Jim's medication and appointments. Community circles are a way for us to support each other in our local community. We're all likely to need help or support at some time in our life. So one day you might find a community circle useful, either for you or someone in your family. Luke is 19 and at university. He has mental health issues, and through the circle he now has a part-time job with a printer lined up for when he's finished his course. Jenny's circle helps her mum Susie manage Jenny's personal budget. They employ a provider to provide support for Jenny in her flat. Ruth's in her 60s and has cancer. She's looking at a community circle to help her start thinking and planning for the end of her life. And Emma is a carer with 2 children who both have disabilities. The purpose of her circle is to support her emotionally, build her resilience and well-being so she can keep both of her sons at home. We hope that you can see how community circles bring us together to think and plan with somebody who needs support because of health issues, disability, age or circumstance. And through community circles we can support each other and build strong, connected communities that benefit all of us.